Hold it! So you think Mr. Justice is kind? Yes, very kind. He rescued me. He's like the sun, strong and warm. He makes me feel strong too. The only adjectives I associate with the sun are sweltering and oppressive. But then Apollo got hurt and it's all my fault. Junie, Apollo's gonna be fine. He's just like the sun, right? Well, the sun doesn't just drop out of the sky. You really think he'll be fine? But the sun does go down at night. Then that means Apollo could... God damn it, Payne. Mr. Payne. I do not think much of men who make young ladies cry. Yeah! So Apollo is trying to help Juniper. Who knew that Apollo could be such a sweetheart? Why is he never like that with me? Must have been pretty hard on him too, with all that rubble everywhere. Now that I think about it, there's something odd about what Apollo was able to do. You know, considering what Ms. Woods said just now, I think you're right. That courtroom was in a very unusual state after all. Which leaves the million-dollar question. What would explain this contradiction? Anyway, let's see what happens when I present what I suspect is our answer. Woods. Where there was no rubble. Well, I mean, I guess, Here, let's press this one. That was when you were called to the stand after Mr. Tonate's testimony, right? Yes, the bailiff came to courtroom number 4 and brought me back to this courtroom. And what about Mr. Justice? Did he come with you or did he stay behind? Okay, that's all that was. He insisted on staying behind. Do you always cough when you get nervous, Miss Woods? Yes. Mr. Wright, please do not make Miss Woods nervous by pressing her so ruthlessly. I asked her a simple question, but that barely even qualified as a quasi-question. Yeah. Let's help her relax with a little small talk before we dive into the cross-examination. You know, ask her about her hobbies and her crushes and stuff. Her crushes? Really? I don't know about this. But maybe it is the rebel one. What do you mean it's the last one? I don't know, because I pressed her on that, and I'm like, Because she has a crush on him? Well, that's the thing, though. I'm like, but I have nothing to present in that case. And I already pressed her about it. Let me try pressing it again and seeing what's happening. I think Mr. Justice is kind. Oh yeah, because she says he's like the sun. And sweltering got hurt, and yeah, and then Payne is a dick. Ah! Okay, anyway. I don't know, I feel like... Because there's still rubble there, though. I'm gonna present that. So he started his search with a witness stand, you say? That's right. I guess maybe he wanted to start from the furthest point in the room. He was being so brave and strong. But that's odd. Under the circumstances, he shouldn't have been capable of that. But he was, and he still is. He might not look it, but he really is brave, and kind too. No, that's not the part I'm finding fault with. Someone has a crush on Apollo. Wow. Well, Phoenix knows. He's probably just like, I'm not gonna push this because this is kind of awkward. What you are claiming is something that no one should have been able to do. But I should think that anyone can be brave and kind if they wanted to be, Mr. Right. True, anyone can be brave and kind, but if you would please take a look at this diagram. With the courtroom in this state, how is it possible to walk up to the witness stand? Oh, I see your point. The rubble blocks off access to the area around the witness stand. Does such a tiny inconsistency even matter? Perhaps the witness is simply misremembering it. Great, now I'm not so sure it matters. A real man doesn't make mountains out of molehills, you know. But that's precisely what Mr. Right does best. I call slander, Your Honor. So, was it really impossible to approach the witness stand? I have to say, it's a bit hard to tell any accuracy from just a diagram. Mr. Payne, do you have any other photos of the crime scene? Let me see, Your Honor. Ah, yes, I have one more. Here it is. It's a more pulled back version of the photo I presented before. Whoa, there's more to the woods. Apollo's assault photo updated in the court record. What's that hunk of metal on wheels? Mr. Payne, is the metallic object in that photo Mr. Tonade's bomb transport case? That's right. Is there some problem? Ah, yes, that transport case was in courtroom number 4 when the bomb went off. Must have been there ever since. Oh, that's it. Miss Woods, have you remembered something? Yes, I just realized its position. It's different from before. Its position? The position of what? The position of that big metal thing. Oh. That could be taken far too many ways. The bomb transport case? Because I think the bomb was inside of it? It's hard to tell at this point. We're probably still kind of piecing together what exactly happened for our sakes. Yes, when Apollo and I went in there, it was in a different place. Where the case is in the photo was open space, so it was easy to search the stand. I see. So where was the transport case when you and Mr. Justice saw it? As I recall, I think it was more to the right. To the right? Then that means, in that case, the case was over there at the time of Apollo's attack. Who cares where the transport case was when? What difference does it make? It has nothing at all to do with what— No, it does, you dumb bastard. Where the transport case was has everything to do with this discussion. In fact, it's so important that it's enough to turn the prosecution's argument on its ear. What? Well, that certainly sounds very relevant indeed. And you sound as though you know where the case was at the time of the attack. Yes, Your Honor. This diagram represents the crime scene as shown in the photo. And this is where the transport case was at the time of the assault on Mr. Justice. All right, I have this. The bomb transport case was here at the time of the attack. Take that! Your Honor, I assert that this is where the transport case was at the time of the assault. But that's inconceivable. Ms. Woods, was this where the transport case was when you saw it? Yes, that's where it was. Thank you, Miss Woods. I'm sure the court has noted an interesting fact about this position. The transport case covers up the writing in blood. Exactly. If the transport case was in that position at the time of the assault, then no message could have been written there because the case was in the way. Which leads us to conclude that Mr. Justice couldn't have left that bloody writing. Why should we believe the defendant's claim that the case was in a different position? She's obviously lying. The fact that the case was moved after the assault on Mr. Justice is proved by more than Ms. Wood's testimony alone. What? And where is this proof you're talking about? It's right here in the crime photo. I'm keen to see this proof myself, Mr. Wright. What in this photo indicates that the transport case was moved after the assault? I think we're looking at like the wheel tracks. Please take a look at that mark that runs over Mr. Justice's bandages there. I see it, but what is it? This mark was made by one of the casters from the transport case carrying the bomb. As the case was moved, it ran over his bandages. In other words, the transport case was originally to the right of Mr. Justice. Then, after Mr. Justice was assaulted, the transport case was moved. No, his hands were far enough down. Just as Miss Wood said, the case was covering the writing at the time of his assault. Therefore, it was impossible for Mr. Justice to have left that message in blood. No! You did it, boss. It was a real nail biter, but you pulled it off. Yep, that should bring down the prosecution's claim like a house of cards. Order in the court. Mr. Wright, that was a very clever deduction. Nah, it was nothing, Your Honor. Nothing but pure genius. Take that. Wow. Boss, I'm sensing a definite smug and braggy vibe coming off of you. I have just one question, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. If Mr. Justice didn't leave this message in blood, then who did? Huh? What? Oh. Oh, Jesus. The only other person to bleed, yeah. Well, looks like I should have taken that train of thought through to the last station. Well, I've heard a lot about this. So this is Mr. Wright's famous bluffing technique, is it? This feeling, it brings back memories of the old days. Back when you carved out a name for yourself by bluffing your way through thick and thin. Gee, Mr. Wright, the judge kind of makes you sound no better than a two-bit con man. You made your argument with such confidence, Mr. Wright. Now I'd like to hear your answer with just as much confidence. Hey, until the judge asked the question, you didn't catch on either, Buster. What now, boss? I hope you didn't bluff your way into a corner. Think, Phoenix, think! There must be a way through this. I have to dig my way to the truth somehow. Who could have written that message in blood? The culprit, Apollo, someone else. No! I didn't want to click it! Oh, fuck! No! Okay, there should be an option to click it and then confirm, because I didn't want to fucking click that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be someone else. I really hope that I just get, like, a fucking demerit and then whatever. God damn it. Pardon me, what? Mr. Wright, didn't you just finish saying that it couldn't have been Apollo? Yeah, sorry. Don't try to blame it on old age. No, I'm blaming it on the fucking fact that it literally took my input immediately. Shut your fucking face. I'm gonna kill you. Please try to think before you speak. Okay, cool. Ugh, I'd better give that another try. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, yeah, I got it. I can't just click haphazardly because it'll just accept whatever. Okay. Someone else. It wasn't Apollo. Who could have left the bloody message? Oh! Wait, was her finger bloody? Well, I mean, what do we got to lose? To be honest, I don't actually have any real proof of this, but I've come this far. There's no turning back now. I bet it says like Woods is innocent or something. Besides Apollo, there was one more person who shed blood at this crime scene. Person who shed blood? You don't mean... Oh, but I do. I believe it was Candace Arm who left behind this message in blood. What? What? Detective Arm? Are you sure you know what you're doing here? Not really. What kind of ridiculous assertion is that? If you had said the attacker left the message to throw people off, it might have made sense. At first glance, that would seem to be the most reasonable explanation. However, Apollo didn't shed enough blood to write such an extensive message. Uh-oh. Ah, I see. Even the photo makes it clear there wasn't enough blood to write all those letters. And Mr. Justice did survive. I suppose he didn't bleed very extensively in that case. But why would Detective Arm write the defendant's name? There's no connection between the two whatsoever. And I didn't even know the lady who was killed. Yeah, okay, yeah. They had never even met each other. That's very true. Well then, let's see. Then maybe the intended meaning of the message is not what it appears to be. The intended meaning? Not what it appears to be? Maybe the message was not intended to be Woods. Coming from you, that's quite the bold statement, Mr. Wright. You wish to assert that this bloody writing could have some other meaning? Yes, Your Honor. For something I pulled out of a wormhole, it could turn out to be true, right? It clearly says Woods, as anyone can plainly see. What other meaning could it possibly have? I don't know, there's another set of like letters and stuff. Yeah, that's, you know what, that is true. I wonder if they changed it like to something else. But Candace Arm was a detective. Maybe Woods only means something to the police. Like a police scanner code, for example. I didn't think of that. You may have tricked His Honor, but you'll never get the best of me. I have a thing for studying on the weekends, as you may have already guessed. And there is no such radio code as Woods in this state, dear Mr. Wright. Is that a fact? Don't look at me, I know as much as you do about police codes. Enough of this, I was quite taken with the defense's new theory, but if they can't substantiate it with anything, then I must end things here. No, please wait, Your Honor. Very well, before we discuss this theory any further, I demand a plausible explanation. So, Mr. Wright, what is the true meaning of the bloody writing? Well, I believe it's... And no stalling! If you can't come up with an answer quickly, I will declare this discussion as officially over. Oh, interesting. In trouble now. What other meaning could it have besides the obvious one? Maybe it means something in another language? Or maybe it's a code. Think, Phoenix, you can do this. Which piece of evidence will tell us what the word Woods really means? I don't know, a code, maybe? I guess that would kind of look like a W if that was but Woods. Oh, if they added more lines to things. Actually, let's take a look at that. Because that D does look a little weird. L1. Ah! RC, I'm figuring things out. The bomb transport case. I've had it about up to here with your shenanigans, Mr. Wright. Look to the zoom up. Yeah, there's more blood on the side. Wait, is there? Well, yeah, because I can tell there's that, and then, yeah, there's more right there. Because there's definitely more, yeah. Because then there would be the 5 and then whatever the last thing was. Take a look at the numbers on this case, Your Honor. L10015R. Doesn't this string look vaguely familiar? L00. What does that have to do with anything? What could those numbers possibly have to do with the case at hand? Shut up, Payne, and I'll tell you. Now please take a look at the bloody writing shown in the crime photo. Oh, I think I see it. That a girl? That's one on my side. It says Woods. Or you could say it's a horse of a different color, Your Honor. Sorry, I had to think about that because I was like, what? Excuse me? The first character isn't a W, it's actually an L and a 1. The next two are zeros. Oh my goodness! The true meaning behind the bloody writing isn't Mrs. Wood's nickname. It's the number engraved on this bomb transport case. What are you talking about? The next part doesn't make any sense. The next number is a 1, but the bloody writing says D. But the number on the case and the bloody writing can be made to match up quite easily. This is how the number on the transport case can be made to match the bloody writing. Erase 2 lines, because erase that line. Erase 2 lines! Please erase the third downward stroke of the W and the curved part of the D. Well, would you look at that? L-I-0-0-I... No, Your Honor. It isn't meant to be read as a word. Lewis. It's the number L10015. Which, if you take away the final R, is the exact same number that's on the bomb transport case. Erase 2 lines and they match up, you say? Well, I can arrange anything into anything else simply by erasing 2 lines. What if we erase 2 lines from your name? Would you be happy as Mr. Rye? Well, would you, Mr. Rye? The only right spelling is right. Okay, I'm doing pretty well here, and I think I've drawn the right conclusion. Detective Arm's real message to us is the bomb transport case number. Your Honor, the 2 lines were added by the real culprit to intentionally mislead people. What? The original message Detective Arm left behind was the transport case number, but whoever assaulted Apollo changed that message. If you're right, boss, then what do you suppose Detective Arm was trying to tell us? Good question. What does this number represent? His ID. Do you see this number here? That is my identification number. Candace Arm lost her life in the courtroom bombing. Her dying message could only have had one purpose. No! To tell us the name of the one responsible for the bombing. And this joke is finally, because his last name is Naruhodo? Oh, really? Well, don't keep us in suspense, Mr. Wright. Tell us who she was trying to name. It's obvious. The culprit that the victim was trying to identify is none other than... The defense wishes to indict Mr. Ted Tonate on the charge of the courtroom bombing. Whoa, but he's a police! Ted Tonate? Apparently disabling bombs isn't Mr. Tonate's only specialty. Somehow the victim must have realized that he was the bomber. So when she was caught in the blast, she left his bomb transport case number as her dying message. She used Mr. Tonate's own ID number to finger him for the crimes. Why would anyone go out of their way to write an ID number? Wouldn't they simply write the person's name? He's got a good point there. What do you have to say to that, Mr. Wright? That only Detective Arm would know the answer to that, but allow me to offer a theory. Perhaps Detective Arm couldn't recall Mr. Tonate's name in the heat of the moment. As I recall, this was the first meeting between the two. It's entirely possible they wouldn't have been familiar with each other. Or maybe using the ID number was a way to hide its true meaning from the real culprit, thus lowering the odds that they would erase the bloody writing. But no matter what the reason, the important thing is the meaning behind her message. The fact remains, she wrote Mr. Tonate's ID number. Now, just one moment here. There hasn't been any proof yet that it was indeed Detective Arm who wrote it. The bloody writing wasn't found during the investigation after the blast. If Detective Arm had left the message, it should have been found at that time. Objection! Naturally, Mr. Tonate hid it before anyone could discover it. And there's a simple explanation for how he was able to do so. What? Mr. Tonate was able to cover the message up because... yeah. The first person to discover the bloody writing was Mr. Tonate himself. I was the first one on the scene after the explosion. I went there to ensure safety, but I ended up discovering a dead body. When Mr. Tonate saw that the victim had written his ID number, he used the bomb transport case to cover up the bloody writing as a stopgap measure. Oh, so that's why the message in blood was under the transport case. He didn't have enough time to try and scrub away the writing. If he didn't report the body right away, he would look suspicious. So those letters lived on to serve another function, when Mr. Tonate used them in another incident. Oh, the assault on Mr. Justice. Exactly. Mr. Tonate hit upon a plan to use the bloody writing for his own purposes. So he didn't clean it away. Instead, he made it look like Mr. Justice wrote it. You should get it. I mean, all of the games, well, they're all, you can emulate all of them because honestly, a lot of them you really can't find much anywhere else. I mean, honestly, the original trilogy goes for really cheap on whatever platform. I would highly recommend that. The updated original trilogy, and then Apollo Justice was pretty good, other than some annoying things that you had to watch 50,000 times. And this one's been good so far. By adding 2 lines to the writing that Detective Arm left behind, he changed the meaning of the message. Attorney versus Lane. I have to play that at some point. Is that also a 3DS title, or is that just a DS title? I remember it being a later one, though. You'll get the Great Ace Attorney? Yeah. He made it look like Mr. Justice was accusing Ms. Woods of the attack. So that means the only person who could have altered the bloody writing was the courtroom bomber, who was the same person that assaulted Mr. Justice. And that person is Ted Tonate. Yeah! Okay, his hair didn't fly off. I'm getting very sad. Why isn't his hair flying off? Da, 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 da. Order in the court. Order, I say. Yeah, detonate, exactly. Looks like we'll have to hear from the bomb specialist himself. Mr. Payne, please have Mr. Tone take the witness stand.
Yes, Your Honor.
That was great, Mr. Wright. Just doing what I do best, which is flying by the seat of my pants. Yeah. Dismantling the case is yours. Do you think you can handle it? I think I handled it pretty well. I look forward to seeing you try. Dude, Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright is 1.5 gigabytes, which is kind of big for a DS file, I think, but also not that big as far as games go. Shit. Boom. Gross. Gross. Finally got Ted Tone to the witness stand. Yeah, it is for a handheld. Yeah, this is true. Looks like you'll get your wish, Goggle Man. Now watch me take your lies apart. Hell yeah, Phoenix, we're gonna kill him. We're going to kill him. With kindness. Hey, Tonate. Mr. Tonate, I'm afraid we have a few more questions for you. I understand the situation, Your Honor. I was keeping a close eye on the proceedings from the gallery. The allegations are all laughable. Objection! Very shiny Sloa blue. Nice. I mean, that's still not bad. I wouldn't be laughing if I were you, Mr. Tonate. The message in blood matches your ID number. Hey, look, it's the case. The same ID number that is there on the bomb transport case. Such a far-fetched theory, no better than a tangled ball of wires. I've had them untangled for you in no time at all. You were the first person on the scene after Detective Arm left her message in blood. You were the only one who could have hidden the writing and then used it again later. I see times two, but then let me ask you. I don't know, he'd probably be like, ha. Do you have any proof that the Detective Arm wrote that message? That's a very good question. Well, do you, Mr. Wright? No, well, we haven't had a chance. The best way to prove that Detective Arm wrote that message is to... analyze the DNA. Your Honor, I request that a DNA test be performed on the blood itself. Once we know whose it is, it'll be obvious as to who wrote the message. Very well. Bailiff, please put in a request for a DNA test with the forensics team. Yes, Your Honor. It'll be some time before we have the results of the analysis. Until then, let's hear more from the witness. I would like nothing more, Your Honor. I want the court to hear how ridiculous the defense's theory is. Yeah, I guess not. Well, I don't know if they ever really appeared. They just kind of talked after the explosion. I admit I was the first one on the scene after the explosion, but there was no bloody writing there at the time. Anyway, there is no way Detective Arm could have written it. She struck her head on rubble and died near the courtroom entrance. She was too far away from where the bloody message was found. So you're saying that the victim's body was nowhere near where the writing was? Precisely. It is as plain as day that she could not have written it. It's true that the body was discovered near the entrance to the courtroom. Please have a look at this crime scene photo. As you can see, there is blood on the rubble near the victim's body. She must have died after hitting her head there. Courtroom bombing photo. I see. All right then, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Do you have what it takes to take my infallible testimony apart? I don't know, probably. Okay. Well then, Andy or Zunder, your quest for me is to find a ROM of Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. After the explosion. Yeah. Because I was just looking now, but there's not really a whole lot of hits. Oh, you already got one? Okay, well then just send that to me via. Well, I don't know if you have like if you use Google Drive or not. That might be the easiest way to transfer stuff. Well, yeah, but I just figured I'd ask just in case you didn't. You haven't played it yet. Why were you the first person to see the scene? To secure the area, it is regulation for a bomb disposal specialist to enter first. In other words, you had the opportunity to alter the bloody writing then, didn't you? Well... Mr. Wright, please don't interrupt. Mr. Tonator is about to give testimony that will show you how wrong your reasoning is. Darn, I think he was just about to say something interesting too. When I went in and saw the aftermath, well, it was quite the disaster. You were able to tell this even with those goggles on? With these goggles, there is no way I could have missed something like that. I can see quite well with them. In fact, I can see every hair on your spiky head. Oh, you have a few grays, Mr. Wright. What? Poor Mr. Wright, you're always working so hard, keeping our office together. Wait a minute, I don't have any gray hairs. Just kidding. Objection! I object to the witness's attempt to prematurely give me gray hair. Mr. Tonate, this court frowns upon untoward comments on a person's hair or lack thereof. Sounds like a great sorrow coming from the judge. Oh no. My apologies, Your Honor. May I please continue my testimony? Anyway, there is no way Detective Arm could have written it. If she didn't write it, then who do you propose did? Mr. Justice, of course. Just before dying, he wrote the name of his attacker, Juniper Woods. A final message from your poor subordinate. Poor Mr. Justice, I'm starting to get all misty-eyed. Apollo is not dead, folks. So, how can you be so sure it wasn't Detective Arm who wrote the message? It is very simple. The fact that he thinks that he died is kinda... Hot chocolate. She had struck her head on rubble and died near the courtroom entrance. Ba-da-da-da. Do you imagine she was thrown back by the force of the blast? A bomb can inflict damage not only from the explosion itself, but also substantial secondary damage from the blast wind. Detective Arm unfortunately hit her head on some rubble. It is stated in her autopsy report as well. Cause of death, trauma to back of head. Ah, the autopsy report. Better take another look at that. Yeah, let's... Yeah, that's a different angle too. No matter what, we can't see, like, her hand. Oh, god damn it. Trauma to back of head caused by impact with a flat object. That doesn't look like a flat object, though. I mean, I guess it's kind of flat, but the edge... Now, do you see? Detective Arm could not have written that message. The reason for that being... it was too far away from where the bloody message was found. I don't think I have... I know I have sticker star that's CXI. I'm running it on Citra, so as long as Citra can take CIA, like, I mean, I could install a CIA on there, so either one works. Like, that's what I'm running this on. Isn't it possible she could have crawled to the area of the bloody message? If that were true, then how did she return to the spot near the entrance? Maybe she crawled back after writing it? Hey, did this guy just me? Would you like to get down on the floor and give us a demonstration of your theory? Huh? No, thank you. The victim's body and the writing are several yards away from each other. There's no way she could reach. Quite the conundrum. So that means something is off somewhere. There must be a contradiction. Maybe the body was moved. But that doesn't explain how blood got onto the rubble. What if that was done by the real culprit after the fact? If that's the case, then something about that might contradict the evidence we have. Maybe if I give the autopsy report here, because it said she was struck by a flat object.
Objection!
You are a terrible liar, Mr. Tonate. Yeah, because it's clearly an angle. Like, it's all on it. If it was flat, it just would have been on, like, the flat side of it. Take a look at this autopsy, specifically the part about Detective Arm's head injury. Cause of death, trauma to back of head caused by impact with a flat object. Yes, what about it? Now take a good look at the bloody piece of rubble. It's sharp and pointed. Hey, you're right, boss, it is pointy. Just like your hair. That is odd, isn't it? What could be the meaning of this contradiction? I believe it means the victim did not hit her head on this piece of rubble. The blood stain you see is just another fabrication. Its purpose is to mislead us into thinking the victim died near the courtroom entrance. Are you claiming the culprit moved the victim's body? That's exactly what I'm claiming. The victim hit her head at some other location, most likely on the floor or some other flat surface. And this location was somewhere near the bloody writing, where the bloody writing was found. In that case, she definitely could have written that message. Your Honor, I have the results of the bloodstain analysis. Very good timing. Let's take a look. According to this report, the message was written in Detective Arm's blood. And as the defense claims, only the parts of the message that were added afterwards were written in Mr. Justice's blood. It would appear that the defense's assertion is correct after all. Bloody writing analysis added to the court record. Hell yeah. Yes, you did it! You were right, boss! Now I have to drive it home. I'll have to take a good look at the bloody writing analysis later. Mr. Tonate, it is now apparent that you have told several lies to this court. I hope you have some sort of explanation for yourself. Fine, I will confess. You will? But then why are you so calm? This time, I will tell the truth. The truth. It is true that Detective Arm wrote my ID number. She very plainly wrote L10015R. I was shocked. But if I did not detonate the bomb, or did I? I did not detonate the bomb. Detective Arm must have mistaken me for the real bomber. Not wanting to be accused, I moved the body and covered the writing. My bad. That's not my bad. That's terrible. I see. So your assertion it is your assertion that you merely moved the body, is that it? That is correct. I did not kill Detective Arm. Oh, well, if that's all you did, then... Are you gonna think for yourself? Wait a minute! That in and of itself is a criminal act. Glad you finally crossed that finish line, Your Honor. Very well, then. Your cross-examination, please, Mr. Wright. Jesus. Cross-examination. The truth. Excuse me? Didn't you? The victim may have had special knowledge of who the bomber was. I have no idea what thoughts Detective Arm may have had inside her head. It is not likely, it's not like I ever dismantled her mind to check. Mr. Wright, if you have suspicions about the witness, let's see your proof. Evidence is everything in a court of law. Even school children know that. How many years have you been a defense attorney now? Cut me some slack, will you? Don't feel bad, boss. You just got your attorney's badge back, after all. In that sense, you're still more of a beginner than I am. I suppose I should be thankful you're not a licensed psychologist. Mr. Tonate, please continue with your testimony. With pleasure. My ID number was left at the scene, but... Detective Arm must have mistaken me for the real bomber. Not wanting to be accused, I moved the body and covered the writing. My bad. You didn't think to clean away the bloody writing? I didn't have time. By the time I found the message, the blood was already dry. The police were waiting just outside for me to secure the room, and I still had to move the body. I was in a panic. With no time to spare, I temporarily covered the writing with my case. Didn't you think the police would find it during their investigation? Regulation stipulates only specialists may touch transport cases. I hate how smug he looks right there. Because of the danger, you see. I thought I would clean up the writing once they were finished. My bad. My bad. Does he really think that'll just magically smooth everything over? This guy is something else. And I don't believe Detective Arm's dying message was just some mistake. He won't wriggle out of this that easily. What did Mr. Tonate see when he first discovered the bloody writing? There has to be a contradiction hidden in his testimony somewhere. He's looking good. I know, look at him. He's got that like Silver Fox vibe. What's going on, Liv? So you admit that you actually did see the bloody writing that Detective Arm left. My bad, I should have said so from the outset. And you are sure it was your ID number? I am sure it was definitely my ID number. That number was assigned exclusively to me by the police department. The number is assigned to my goggles as well. So those funky things were provided by the police department. Although these are special goggles customized by me personally. Speaking of personalized, these glasses of mine were custom made as well. They were specially created to be particularly dark and shiny. Speaking of special, my gavel is made of mahogany and was custom made as well. It was specially created to make a particularly loud and resounding sound. Like so, wish I had something to brag about. What about your amazing daughter? Be all of that as it may, I just want to reconfirm you saw the bloody writing clearly. And that was your ID number? That is correct. My ID number was written in blood on the floor. Okay. Press. L10015R? And it was written after the bomb went off in the courtroom? Correct, I didn't know why she would write it, so that sent me into a panic. Sounds like you were in quite a tizzy. If I were in his shoes, I guess it would have psyched me out too. Can't imagine coming across the message "Psychs" written in blood. If I saw gasp in pain written in blood, it'd certainly make me gasp. Rest assured, Mr. Tonate, I understand how you must have felt. And so you discovered your ID number written in blood at the scene, and... That is right, I saw it with my own eyes. It very clearly said L10015R. But I did not detonate the bomb. Okay, By mistaken, do you mean you had nothing to do with the explosion? Yeah, it doesn't show the R for sure. Oh, actually, maybe that's, yeah. That is correct. That is why I was so shocked when I saw my ID number. The victim may have suspected Mr. Tonate for no reason other than the fact that, as the bomb specialist, he was in charge of the bomb. In other words, a false accusation. It's vocational discrimination, I say. I do not support discrimination of any kind. Well spoken, Your Honor. If the victim had been found to be killed with a gavel, Mr. Blue Suit over there probably would have pinned the crime on you. He would? Well, that just wouldn't do. Mr. Wright, if you dare try to pin anything on me, I will find you in contempt of court. But I've never even tried to harm a hair on a strand of your beard, Your Honor. Well said, Mr. Payne, because I'm so closely associated with bombs, I was afraid I would be prosecuted if anyone saw the bloody writing. Okay, so. I knew, he was like, I guess I should check that bloody writing analysis more closely. I just want to make doubly sure that L10015R is really what you saw written in blood. Yes, it very clearly said L10015R. But that's odd because that's not what I see. What on earth are you babbling about now? Wasn't it you who claimed that the bloody writing was his ID number in the first place? Take a good look at the photo in the bloody writing analysis, you dumb fuck. Which is what he should have said. Now tell me, does it really say L10015R? No! Eep! Something is missing, isn't it? And that something is the final R. What is the meaning of this, Mr. Tonate? Right, now I remember. There was no R on the end. It was just a slip of the finger. My bad. Come back, my beautiful contradiction. Mr. Wright, I'm not so sure it was just a simple slip of the finger. Yeah, it's just annoying. You have something for me, Athena? I sense that he's extremely agitated, almost panicked. He does look pretty flustered. Well, Mr. Wright, it appears it was nothing more than a mere mistake. I don't know, did he really just make a typo? What about that R? Did Mr. Tonate really see it? Because it was on a chunk. She wrote it. He had to. Oh, I wonder if it's on that chunk of rock that he used to fucking hit Phoenix, hit Apollo with. Maybe Mr. Tonate really did see the R, but there's no R anywhere in the bloody writing. What's going on here? Now that I take another look at the photo, I think maybe that's it. What is it now, Mr. Wright? Are you trying to imitate Apollo and his cords of steel? I've got it. So that's what happened. A slip of the finger. Is that really all it was? Because I don't think so. I propose that Mr. Tonate really did see the letter R. But the photo clearly shows that there's no R. No, there is like a tiny bit of R, you dumb jerks. No, Your Honor, actually, just the opposite is true. The photo shows that Mr. Tonate actually could have seen the R. If you're going to make that claim, you better be able to point out what you mean. What part of the photo shows that Mr. Tonate could have seen the R? I don't know, like, this part, bro? Please look here, to the right of the 5. Do you see a little bit of red? Oh, I see it, just on the edge of where the floor is broken up. That's the R that Mr. Tonate saw. It's true that the witness wears some very, very odd goggles, but that doesn't mean his eyesight is bad, nor his brain power. What part of that little smudge looks like an R to you? But what Mr. Tonate saw wasn't that little smudge. There was a whole and complete R written there, before the floor was damaged by the explosion. Oh, well, that explains it. Huh? Care to explain what you mean? Because you just proposed that everything happened in the exact opposite order. Yep, because that's the way it really went down. Timing of when the R was written turns everything about this case around. Now then, if the floor was damaged by the explosion, when was that message written? Before the explosion, obviously. With the bloody message running off the edge of the damaged floor like that, we can only conclude that it was written before the explosion. But that's ridiculous. If that were true, it overturns your own premise. That's right, it does. In fact, it turns everything upside down. The victim was not killed by the explosion in the courtroom. She was killed before the explosion ever occurred. Order! Order in the court! What kind of preposterous claim is that? Have you forgotten that the victim's body was found at the scene of the explosion? Objection! True, but consider this scenario. She was hit on the head and killed before the explosion, or even before the trial began. Her body was subsequently placed in the courtroom ruins after the bombing occurred. That way it could be made to look like she was a victim of the blast. Oh, I bet he transported her inside the bomb case. Sounds like we had better look into what the victim was doing before the trial. Mr. Payne, did anyone see Detective Arm before the trial? Let's see, according to the police report, here it is. One person saw the victim before the trial. And that person was Ted Tonate. Wait, what? No one besides Mr. Tonate saw the victim? That appears to be the case, Your Honor. I would now ask the court to recall something. Specifically, Mr. Tonate's words from yesterday. It was when the Detective Arm and I were transporting the bomb. Oh my! Mr. Tonate, just before the trial, you were with the victim. The two of you were together at the scene of the crime, courtroom number 4. Your Honor, the defense requests new testimony from Mr. Tonate. We wish to hear what he has to say about his whereabouts just before the trial. Mr. Tonate, your testimony, please. My testimony? There is no need for... He's completely unnerved, Mr. Wright. You must have hit the nail on the head. Because, all I did was transport the bomb to the courtroom. I already told you. God bless this thing. I was only in the courtroom with the victim because of our work. I swear I was only transporting the bomb there. Objection. You and the victim were alone together at the scene of the crime. In other words, you certainly had the opportunity to commit murder, did you not? Tisk, tisk. You always leave yourself so open to attacks, Mr. Wright. What now, Mr. Payne? Yes, Mr. Tonate may have had the opportunity to kill Detective Arm, but an important piece of your assertion is missing. What important piece? The murder weapon. What do you claim was used to kill the victim? But Mr. Payne has a point. Even if Mr. Tonate had the chance without a weapon, you can't accuse him of the crime. He killed her with the bomb. Well, Mr. Tonate? You guys wanted to put cat milk down? Aw. No, yes, that's right. Yeah, that guy looks totally innocent. I didn't have any sort of thing that could be used as a murder weapon on me. I couldn't possibly have killed Detective Arm. We talked about how thick the metal plating is on his bomb prototype. Did he really have nothing he could use as a murder weapon? What is it, Athena? Just looking over the victim's autopsy report. I'm hoping there's something in here that can point us in the right direction. Well, it does say that she died from trauma to the back of the head with a flat object. Yeah, and to inflict that specific kind of injury, all you would need is a flat surface, right? A heavy, blunt object with a flat surface could definitely, like a 12-pound square? Well, Mr. Wright, can you indicate for the court what was used to kill Detective Arm? I believe I can. Believe being the key word here. You can? Then please do so now. What did Mr. Tonate have that could have been used as the murder weapon? Yeah, 12 pounds cubed. Mr. Tonate, you say you didn't have anything that could be used as a weapon. But in fact, you had the perfect thing. What? What the devil are you talking about? You had this. That's the bomb. I thought you were trying to prove that the victim wasn't killed by the bomb blast. The bomb blast, no, but I believe Candace Arm was killed with this bomb. Because this is the blunt object that delivered the fatal blow to her head. Yeah. Please recall the description of Detective Arm's head wound. Trauma to back of head caused by impact with a flat object. We assumed this injury was sustained when her head hit the floor. But a blow from any flat side of this bomb would produce the exact same wound pattern. Okay. Okay, he's just laughing. What's with him? Then show me some proof. Where's the evidence that I hit the victim with the bomb? Ugh, he's right. I don't have anything decisive. Did you find any of the victim's blood on the bomb? That would be decisive proof. But too bad, the bomb is blown to bits. It's long gone. Boom! Game over! Yeah! Ugh. Unless... Mr. Wright, is there really nothing on the bomb in the photo? There's a crack on it. I don't see any blood or anything. Wait! The timer display is a little broken here. Maybe it broke where it made contact with Detective Arm's head. It's definitely a distinct possibility. But unless we find a fragment with the victim's blood on it, it's not gonna count. Ugh. Guess you're right. Setting off the bomb, Tonate managed to obliterate all traces of the murder weapon. What in the world do I do now? Apollo's gonna come on in and be like, bitch, please, I got bomb part. Times like this, I've gotta change gears and look at things in a different way. Instead of looking for the things he wasn't able to hide, I should be looking for a way to expose the things he did hide. Ted Tonate murdered Detective Arm before the trial started. Then he placed her body in the courtroom after the bomb went off, which means there was something he needed to keep hidden until then. And I think I have just the thing. Time to present the photo that shows exactly what Mr. Tonate had to hide. Oh, probably the detonator? Your Honor, please take a look at this. The fact that Tonate hid this makes it decisive evidence for my case. Not sure if I really... But he hid the detonator! Not sure either. Okay, me either. Okay, well, I got a penalty for that. Whatever. Is this just worded weirdly? What he could have hidden. What? I know. But that's why I'm like, what he had to hide. Because I feel like... Oh, so would I show the body then? Which fucking thing? Like, that's the thing I hate. There are a million pictures. Which fucking picture would I show? The picture of the autopsy? Wait, what do you mean there's a second object? What? Jump. What, from the DNA thing? Oh, you're talking about the R? Oh. What? Is it the R, I guess? Nope. No, it's not that. Like, is it the body? I don't fucking understand. What are you? I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, it's got to be the body. What says 1/2? What? I don't understand. But yeah, but I mean, would I show the picture of the body then? Or the crime scene, or would I show her autopsy report? Hi, Anna. What? Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, because the other one is just talking about the DNA. Oh, can I? I don't think I can. So maybe it's either or. Okay, that worked because the health bar went away. But yeah, hopefully you're doing well tonight, Anna. Your Honor, there's something we've all been overlooking. If the murder took place before the trial, then Mr. Tonate would have had to hide the body somewhere during the trial. Hey, you're right, and if we can figure out where that hiding place was, it's his stupid fucking bomb thing. Why do we have to go through hoops? I already fucking know. He put the body in there. We know that he had to hide the body. Just let me present the fucking case. I was like, the wording just seems weird. Yeah, exactly. We might be able to find some evidence we can pin him down with. So where could Mr. Tonate have hidden the body during the trial? We gotta like fucking jump through goddamn hoops. This is the only thing big enough. New game? Yeah, we're playing Dual Destinies, which is the 3DS entry of Ace Attorney. Or one of them. Wait, a box big enough for a body, a box that was in the courtroom the whole time, a box nobody would touch if they thought there was a bomb in it. Mr. Tonate, what is it? Do you finally have some decisive evidence to show me? No, you're the one who's going to show it to me. Come again? You heard me. Now, show me what's inside that bomb transport case. What? Why? No, there's no need. I've got him now. Just before the trial, you killed the victim with a blunt object. And then you placed her body in the ruins of the courtroom after the bomb went off. Clearly, you were trying to make it look like she died in the explosion. But where was the body hidden during the trial? Oh, I hadn't thought of that. You don't think of anything, Judge. The answer is right here. Inside a box made of thick alloy plating that can withstand any impact. No, that's completely false. If it's false, you should have no objections to showing us your transport case. So, let's open it up and take a look inside, shall we? Hold it. Let's not. Not if you value your life. What's he up to now? Remain calm and listen carefully. This bomb will detonate in 5 minutes. What? Huh? I repeat, this HH-3000 will detonate in 5 minutes. What's going on? Your Honor, I recommend you adjourn this trial before this bomb goes off. Mr. Tonate, are you threatening me? I am the only one who can disable this bomb. If you do not want to die, your only option is to listen to me. But Mr. Tonate, didn't you say that's just a training model, a fake to practice on? I did, but I also lied. This is the real deal. This is the HH-3000. But the HH-3000 was used to blow up courtroom number 4, wasn't it? How do you know it was the real HH-3000 that blew up courtroom number 4? Huh? The bomb that blew up the courtroom was a different one that I made. What? Then are we to take that as a confession on your part? Take it any way you would like. Just before the trial, I took the HH-3000 out of the stuffed animal and put my own bomb into it. That was the bomb that exploded and destroyed courtroom number 4. Mr. Tonate, please be reasonable. Do you really expect us to believe a crazy story like that? The HH-3000, it is so unique. I had never seen anything like it. It's so unique that I could not replicate the detonation mechanism. So I just had to have it. Besides, did anyone look inside the stuffed animal during the trial? Did anyone check to see if it really was the HH-3000 in there? I must confess, no one opened the stuffed animal to check. So there really is a possibility the bomb was switched out? No, not a possibility, a certainty. I did it. So he's had a real bomb with him this whole time. You had better get out of here while you can. You do not have much time. Order in the court. I'm out of here. It's gonna blow. Run. Stop blowing up the court, man. You 4 are still here. Well, aren't you brave? It just wouldn't do for the judge presiding over this court to run. But that horrible explosion the other day, the judge looks like he's about to book it for the nearest exit any second. And Mr. Payne... that is... Nyarg! Oh, well, he's gone. And he's off. Mr. Wright, what do we do? Ugh. It'd be pretty pathetic to run now, wouldn't it? But the bomb might really go off. Only 3 more minutes, folks. Is that bomb really the HH-3000? What should I do? Stand my ground. I can't run now. Well, it's been fun, but I will be going now. With my dear HH-3000, naturally. Oh, and by the way, I would advise against having me followed. Even with no remote switch, this bomb can still be triggered manually. If I think I'm going to be followed, I will detonate it on the spot. Farewell.
Hold it!
You're not going anywhere, Ted Tonate. Oh? Your Honor, there's no reason to be afraid. That bomb is a fake. Are you sure, Mr. Wright? More of your famous bluffing? even at the risk of your own life? Mr. Wright, none of your bluffing now, not at a time like this. Lives are on the line here. I'm not bluffing, and I have proof. You do? Yes, of course, Your Honor. It's right here in the photo of the bomb, clear as day. Proof that Mr. Tonate's bomb is not the real HH3000. Really? Out with it then, immediately. Where's the proof that what Mr. Tonate is holding is not the real HH3000? The display for the timer on the bomb in the photo is broken. Most likely it broke when Mr. Tonate used the bomb to attack Detective Arm. But the display on the bomb in front of us is not broken. Oh, you're right. Therefore, this is not the real HH3000. Mr. Tonate was clearly lying when he said he switched the bomb and the stuffed animal. The real HH3000 blew up in courtroom number 4. This bomb is nothing more than a fake, a model used for training purposes. Yeah, fuck you. Fear not, Your Honor. I will examine the inside of the bomb transport case myself. Yes, please do that, Mr. Wright. No, stop! Damn. What is that? Is that a blood stain? Just as I expected. Your lies have all been blown to bits, Mr. Tonate. I'm confident DNA analysis on this bloodstain will confirm that it's Detective Arm's blood, and that those results will conclusively prove that you murdered Detective Arm. Yeah. How about it, Mr. Tonate? Think you can dismantle this decisive evidence? Damn, look at that finger! Dismantle it? You're too late! You missed your chance to run, so now you're out of time. This HH3000 is about to explode. Don't try to threaten us, Mr. Tonate. I've already proved that your bomb is a fake. It's real! This bomb is a real thing, I tell you! It's real! Mad Bomber, party of one. There's no time left, it's gonna blow! I have to disarm it. I have to take it apart. I can dismantle anything. I can take apart evidence. I can take apart bombs. I can dismantle it all. Oh. Well, this guy's super crazy. Okay. Made it. He has eyes. Now he's dead. What? Game over. Dismantle attempt failed. Wow. You're still alive? My life has been blown to pieces. It's all that stupid woman's fault. I was selling bombs I disarmed on the black market, which is terrible. When I tried to take this one, she just had to notice, didn't she? She confronted me in courtroom number 4 that day. That's why I had no choice. Before I knew what I was doing, I hit her. It's all her fault. While I was looking for a place to hide her body, she left a message in her own blood. The trial was about to start, so I didn't have time to clean it up. Now all this. I thought for sure I could disguise her death with an explosion. And that stupid defense attorney started sticking his nose into my business. After my testimony yesterday, I went to courtroom number 4 and they found that kid all up in my bomb transport case. That's when I snuck up behind him and bam! And that's when the idiot police arrested that little girl. I thought for sure I could pin it all on her. Why, oh why? Damn. Get fucked. Whew. Ted Tonet, you are hereby under arrest on suspicion of the courtroom bombing and the assault on Mr. Justice. Your innocence or guilt will be determined at a later trial. Also, he killed a woman? Definitely? Now then, I see that members of the public have returned to the gallery. One person, however, seems to still be running far, far away. Be that as it may, I will now announce Miss Juniper Woods' verdict. Yes! Give us that 3D confetti! Yay! Look at you. Look at us. Fuck that guy. Yay! Court is adjourned. Somebody clean up this confetti. Okay. You did it, boss. Yeah, I guess we managed to pull it off somehow. So many mysteries all cleared up at once. It was amazing. It just sort of worked out that way, didn't it? Not the kind of thing that usually just works out. You made it happen. And the way that mean old prosecutor hightailed it out of there, that was great. Mr. Wright, Athena, thank you for everything you did for me. So happy for you, Junie. Now you can go back home to the forest in peace. I hope the both of you will come and visit me there sometime. That would be nice. Thank you for the invitation. I don't know, Mr. Wright. I'm not so sure you can make it all the way up to Junie's house. Are you saying I'm old? How high up do you live again, Junie? Around 3,000 feet, I think. What? That's no forest, that's a mountain. But you know, boss, there's something that still bothers me about the case. One little mystery we never got around to solving. Oh, that? Yeah, I was wondering about that too. Is this the unsolved mystery you're thinking of? It's like the only thing. The remote switch, right? Yeah, I wonder where it disappeared to. Maybe Mr. Tone just got rid of it somewhere. Yeah, it is a pretty big thing to leave unsolved, though. Well, let's leave it up to the police to find, because they're so trustworthy. For now, we should be celebrating our not guilty verdict. I guess you're right. Yeah, I know. Junie, shall we go report the good news? You know, to that certain someone? Okay. Her grandmother? No, silly, to Apollo. Oh, right. Well, why don't we all go to the hospital together to see him? Great idea. I bet he's bored out of his mind. Okay. And so the courtroom bombing case came to a close. But the next trial was just over the horizon. There's never a dull moment with so many lawyers in the office, that's for sure. Apollo Justice, Athena Sykes, and me, Phoenix Wright. Between the three of us, there's no case we can't solve. When our powers combine, we're an unstoppable team. At least, that's what I believed. Yeah, what does that mean? Who's gonna die? Phoenix, are you actually gonna die? Oh, but all that changed with what Apollo said to us that day. It was something that would put my faith in us to the ultimate test. What? Date, write anything, agency? It's a strange way to end a chapter. You quitting?
Sorry, but I'll be taking a leave of absence.
Wait, what do you mean by a leave?
Can you at least give me a reason why?
I can only say that this is something I must settle on my own.
You made Trucy sad. You made your sister sad, you dumb bastard. Okay. Is it because you got blown up twice? Well, once, and then hit?
Oh,
Yeah, don't
why, Apollo? Why are you shutting us out?
Yeah, why'd you make Midget sad, you dumb fuck? I don't think so. Maybe? I think Trucy knew, or maybe she knew about something else. I swear she hinted that she knew about something near the end. Oh God, Apollo, yeah. Ever since you put that jacket on, you've changed. Whose jacket is that? Is that filled with the spirit of Dungfuck McGee? And now, for whatever reason, all my mind keeps doing is returning to shit. Yeah, remember? We had tackled our first case together, he and I, this past spring. Oh, is this a flashback case? And as we did, I came to know who he is and how he thinks. It was a very peculiar case, one in which the victim was killed by a mythical creature. What? Excuse me? Yeah, her motion thing is sad. Yeah, I don't know. Their first case together. The monstrous turnabout. Oh, Yes, save game. Saving data. Do not turn off the system. Good job. That's the end of this recording.